Alright, I wanted to show you guys, if you do miss this one on the first shot, the second shot's not on that white line. It's basically a couple pixels to the right of it. So, basically right here, that's 2 pixels right of the line. So it should just bounce off the corner of this, and then it'll barely catch that lip and roll in. Alright, I wanted to show you the rest of these holes. The last video I didn't do every hole. So this one, that little green area here, I zoom in all the way just to make sure. I mean, you can easily still do it this way, but to be more consistent, if you zoom all the way in and then don't look at it this way, I guess you could. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I do it where I try to look down and then I line up right with the left side of that. So this being like right in the middle of the green, and this being on the left side of the green. If you go, I mean, it's not that precise anymore. There's a few pixels, but I mean, this one right here will definitely work. I like kind of just go over to where it shows a little bit of black on the right side of the line, and then just full power, and it goes right in every time. That's not a problem hole. That one seems to work every single time. I don't even think I've ever missed that since I found it. This one, so you want to aim the one that's right in the middle of the screen there, right about there. You want to aim basically not directly in the middle of it. You want to go like a pixel left of the middle of it from here. So here I'm aiming right at it. That's basically the middle right there. If I go a pixel left, I mean, you want to be basically still in the middle of it, but just a hair to the left, full power, and another very consistent shot. Alright, this one, there's a green area right here. There's so many shots for this one, but I just typically go for this. That little green speck that I'm basically centering the screen on right now. I just aim at that full power, and it'll get you pretty much. I mean, I'm not super precise with that one, because either way you get over here, and then basically you see this intersection here. Like, you can see the flag in the background. See the flag? I'm almost aiming right at the flag. So, but I just use this this area right here, right at the end of the line. I use that as my aim, and then I go about this much power. So I usually just bring it down this way so it's easier to see. And then yeah, go about 2.2, a little bit more than 2.2. Just a little left of that intersection, depending on where you land. And then right when the bottom of the streams get to the top where they're about to disappear, like right now, like that's when you want to shoot. So right now, and it'll pretty much get me centered. You can go a little bit more left. I think I usually go more left. It's been a while. And then yeah, just aim basically right at the flag, 1.5, and it very rarely it'll roll over the hole. It usually just drops right down. So that's an easy 3. Okay, yeah, this one I usually just zoom in all the way, pull the mouse back so that you look down, and then there's a right at the end of my line. See where it's that white corner meets the black? You're basically aiming right at that, but a little left of it. So like right now, it's just showing just a little bit of black. It almost looks like it's hitting the white line. That's how you know you're good. If it's basically hitting the white line, full power. And I mean, the shot does glitch occasionally, but 99% of the time it just goes straight in the hole. Alright, this hole 11. Alright, this one's different on the first shot than it is on the second shot. So, I mean, if you're going for a run, you're going to want to get it on the first shot. So I'm going to show you that one. basically right at the end of my line right now. See that black mark? Like right now I'm basically right on it. Here I'm in front of it. I judge my shot based off of that black mark. So I zoom in all the way, pull back on the mouse or push the mouse forward so that you're looking like horizontal. And then there's the mark. So I go, see how just a little bit of it's sticking out of the right side of the line? You want to have it to where there's just the tiniest piece sticking out. So like right now I'm on the right pixel, but if I go one left, now you can see a lot more of it sticking out. It went back. Yeah, right now you can see more of it sticking out. You don't want that. That won't work. You want to be one more pixel right of that. So right now there's literally just the tiniest piece. I don't even know if you can see it sticking out of the right line. Then I know I'm dead on. So full power, just shoot it, and you'll land basically right in the middle of this brown square here. That's exactly where you want to be. It should land there every single time, only on the first shot. On the second shot, I forget what it does. I think it still ends up down here, but in a different spot. And then you want to aim. Alright, see you have a line, you have the Y, then you have a line, then you have a W, then you have another line. That's the line right next to the G, to the left of the G. That's the line you want. But you can't really aim right at it. You can, it'll go in a lot of the times, but there's an invisible wall. They may have fixed it, they may not have. But hang on, I'm lost now. So yeah, it's it's hard to see when you're zooming in. Alright, so it's next to that G. So I guess it would be that line right there, in between the W and the G. You want to aim right at that and then go a pixel right. So there's the W and the G, there's the line, full power, and then I'm aiming right at it right now, which I'd probably hit an invisible wall, or it would work. I'm going to go one pixel right of that, carefully. Yeah, right there, one pixel right of it, and then it should just sneak right past this wall and go right in the hole. So if you're going to try to do that on the first shot, if you're playing with people and somebody does a similar shot to that, then it'll probably count as your first shot almost, and it'll do something different. So just keep that in mind. There is another shot for if you're doing it on the second shot, and I think Ghost Zapper just put a video out today showing another way to do that one if it's not on the first shot. So just check out his video if you want to see an alternative way to do that one once the shot's already taken. Alright, hole 12. I zoom in all the way and then push the mouse all the way forward. Basically so that when I aim, my aimer's like right at the tip here. I mean, if I went this way and went to that same power, I'm in a slightly different area and it's harder to line up. But lately I've been using the left side, like the wall over here, to aim the shot. But just to give you an idea, this is basically the shot, right about here. That's basically the shot. But on the left side of the wall, right above the ledge, the far back wall, there's a little tiny black mark that's sticking out. And this is how you can make sure that you have it lined up, because this does change. The line changes occasionally. It's a weird shot. But if you base it off of the wall, so I'll try to, let me just make sure it's the right spot here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm using this mark right here. This black mark right in the center of the screen. You want the right side of that to be sticking out just a little bit. So if I back out so you can kind of get an idea. If I go back here, right now, on the left edge of my screen, you can see that thing sticking out. Just the slightest bit. So you want it to be, right now it's barely sticking out. So I know that that's right. If I go here, it's still sticking out, but it's very, like, you can barely see it. So I know that's too far to the right. So if I go one more pixel back, now it's sticking out just a hair bit more. So I can usually tell based off of that, and then based off of where the line is on that black curve, like right at the end of my line, I can usually tell. And then it's just getting the power right at that point. So if you want to make sure, cause sometimes when you let go of the mouse, it'll move a pixel just the slightest bit, like it's doing right now. It's moving constantly. But sometimes you can just, if you want to hit C and then let go of the mouse, and then hit C again, that'll hold your power. So just to make it a little more consistent, if you want to do that. And then yeah, basically the power is just, I don't know if you can see, but it's slightly over 3 power. So it's like the first notch to where you can see power after the line, after the 3 power line. So that's your power, and then that's your angle, and then fire it, and it should drop down like right here, here, and then it'll almost dunk into the hole, but it'll wrap around and then swing around and go right back in. So that's very consistent, that shot. It's just very precise. Alright, this one, see the line directly in front of my line, that black line? Pretty much aim right at that. Around like 3.3, 3.25 in that area. And right as that thing comes about halfway down, so as soon as the bottom of that thing that's lowering touches the top of that ledge, is usually when I shoot. So right about now. And then that'll get you, I mean, sometimes I'll end up rolling up this a little bit and then coming back down here. Most of the time it ends up around the same area. And then I go about like 3.6 right in the center of, see the, like I'm aiming basically right at, here I'll just show you with the free cam. In between this and that, the green ropes and the yellow rope. I usually try to aim right in between that. A little more left though. I wouldn't go directly centered. So kind of like right here, about this much power, and then yeah, then it should just go. See now, I'm glad it did that, because if it's your second shot, which is typically when you'd be doing that shot, it won't slow down like that. So that it'll slow down if it's your third shot or more. I tried doing this before, but I did a weird pixel. But yeah, so it won't slow down if that's your second shot. So that shot would be perfect. It would have bounced off the wall and gone in. But the fact that it's my 5th shot, that's why that just happened. So if that's the case, you want to go. Now watch, I'll end up in a different spot on this shot too, probably. Yeah, so I hit a little bit of an invisible wall, but I'm still basically there. So I could probably go close to full power now. Actually, I could probably go full power. If it really slows down a lot like that, I'll probably go about full power. Yeah, see it slow down? So, yeah, just keep that in mind. If it's your second shot, you can go about 3.6, 3.7. If it's your third or more shot, you want to probably go about full. Alright, this one, I aim right about here, and there's like a pink speck on the first stomper, right where I'm aiming basically. It's pretty noticeable. It's a little bit of a speck. I usually wait for the stomper to come down so I can aim right at that, go a pixel, about a pixel right of it. And then as the back stomper starts to lift up is when you want to fire. So right about now. And you'll bounce off that. And then you should land here. If you land, sometimes it'll glitch, it'll like bounce off that weird, and it'll land like over here. If that's the case, this shot's not going to work. But if that does happen, then just pretty much just go full power somewhere in like this area. Like left of that crease right there, that big crease where the ledges connect. Just go like somewhere left of that full power, and you should get it, or if not, just get really close. But this is the shot that I usually go for, and it works a lot of the time. It's pretty specific on the first shot to land where I am. but that little tiny speck right there, or the green line basically, you want to aim basically right at that, but just a hair right of it. So like almost where the black line is, in between the F and the whatever that little squiggle is. So that black line that's basically centered in the screen. Pretty much want to aim right at that, about 3.4 power. So there's the F I'm aiming at now. There's the speck to the left of it. I'm just right of it. I go about 3.4-ish, and then basically right at that speck, just a pixel right, and it'll go directly in the hole. So that one, you might have to play with that one a little bit, just to get that first shot right. This one's been a little weird lately. I used to judge it off of the way the line faded on the tip, but it doesn't seem to do it anymore. I think it does on the second shot. I don't know. I don't know what they did in this last update, but some things changed, little things like that. But I've been using a different pixel. Forget what it is. I gotta remember this one, but basically I'm aiming right in the center of that thing in the center of the screen, where that, if you follow the black around to where it stops, between that and the next side of it. So it's hard to explain, but if I pull back on the mouse fully zoomed, it ends up putting my line basically right there, right in between what I was talking about. That'd be in the end of the left side, and that'd be in the end of the right side. So you want to be like basically right in between that, but then like a pixel right. So this may work, may not. I still have to perfect this one again now that the line doesn't fade. But we'll see. Alright, so it's basically, if you center it in between what I just showed you and then go 1 pixel right, full power, you should get that one every time. It's very consistent. It's just pixel perfect. You have to be right on the right pixel. Now this one's going to be hard to explain how I aim it here. But there's like a black line that I'm on right now. I'm like kind of, yeah, right. I think I'm right on it right now. And here I'm a pixel left of it. Then another pixel left, another pixel left. I skipped one. And then there's this one. So this one, I'm basically in between like the lighter area, but a pixel right of it. So if I go one more left, that should be like centered, which is what you don't want. Yeah, right there. That's basically centered in the lighter area of the ledge. So right at the end of my line. You want to go just one right of that. That should be right. Yeah, that should be right there. And then full power. And I can tell if it does the shot right if it does this. Yeah, so see how it just went up and wrapped around on that brown square up there? That's how you know. And it'll end up coming back here and just tapping off this a little bit. You'll end up basically in the same exact spot every time. And then on the back wall, I usually just aim at this, because just in case you don't end up in the same exact spot, I try to just use this as a guide. This piece right here, I try to aim at that, which is basically, you can see it sticking out just a little bit above where the slope goes up. So I aim right at that, and then I kind of eye this one. It's about here. You can tell with that little line that's in the power bar. I don't know if you can see that little line, but that little line stops, and like this would be basically right on the little line, right at the end of it. So there's a lot of shots that I do where I use that, but I basically just go double the distance from that, if that makes any sense. Some people should know what I'm talking about with that, but go about double the distance back from it, aim right at that, and you should just bounce off the wall just right to where it'll send you back here. And a lot of the times, almost every time, if you do it right, you'll land right where I landed. If not, you'll land like right here. Sometimes you'll be a little bit further this way, but you usually will end up landing right on that spot. Then you can just zoom out. And from here, since I'm pretty far since I'm pretty far to the right, I'm gonna have to go pretty far right to compensate for the curve going up the ramp. So it does make this shot. There's definitely easier shots, but I've just had a lot of luck with this one. So you want to go about 2.7, yeah, about there. And see how I'm not aiming at the hole. I'm a decent amount right of it. I might even be too right now. Probably somewhere around here. You just want to compensate for that slope because your ball's gonna get sent left as you shoot up. So this should be pretty close. Yeah, so I mean, you just have to get the feel for that shot at the end. But the good thing is you basically land in almost the same spot every time, so it's not that hard to judge. But yeah, hopefully that helps you out.